I want to introduce Rob Lerner. He is the Vice President of Sales for Cloud at Databank Ltd. He's an entrepreneur and a longtime friend / family member. So Rob, thank you for joining me. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you. Same here, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
So for those who haven't had a connection with you like I have, talk a bit about your background, where you're from, who you are, and what you do.
Sure. Starting all the way back, family's from the Soviet Union. I also lived there till I was about 13 years old. And got kind of lucky with my dad. The Soviet Union allowed us to travel because of his job. He was a chemical engineer at the time. And we got to travel everywhere the Soviet Union would of course, allow him to go. So we ended up in places like the Arctic Circle, Vietnam, Moldova, nothing
big tourist
crazy,
attractions.
Yeah, pretty much. Had a good time. And all the way to the breakup of the Soviet Union, which allowed us to get out of there, come here. My father was very lucky. He got a job immediately doing exactly what he was doing there, which was perfect for him. He actually retired from that job 10 years later, earned, and basically he calls it earning his second pension. And me personally, I'm super lucky. I think I've won like the world lottery ending up in America. Of course, it's like the dream, getting here and then realizing how great of a country it really is and how much it gave me an opportunity to really become or get to where I wanted to get to.
So talk a bit about that. What was your path to getting into a career here in the United States?
I think quite interesting, or for me anyway, it was quite interesting. So I started by realizing I wanted to be in technology, in computers, in electronics at the time. I saw my first computer in the early 90s. It was huge, with the big screen, the whole nine, and I was just mesmerized by it. To me, it was unbelievable. Like, wow, look at what I can do on this thing. And since then, I knew I wanted to be in technology. I thought I wanted to be in electronics because I wanted to design the guts. It wasn't about what the computer did, it was how it did it at the time. So I started by switching high schools, and I went to a technical vocational high school in New Jersey. It was called Bergen Tech at the time, and I graduated there with an electronics degree. Best school or best high school experience I think I can come up with. It was great. A lot of money there. They could buy all sorts of things because it was a county school, so the budgets were big. After that, right off the bat, I got a job as an apprentice, as an electronics apprentice for a printing press company, where I worked on robotics, and really I was just a glorified wire replacer because they constantly kept breaking those robots. And right there, I realized I wanted to, go into electronics and get a degree and a further degree. So I signed up for pre-engineering. I guess it was a degree in my community college. And I didn't finish my first semester there. I dropped out right after I had an argument with them about taking, what was it? Eastern European history of the 13th century. And I said, well, I'm here to learn this, but what's up with that? And they basically said, well, you got to take it. And at some point I said, nah, I'm just going to skip that. So I jumped out of there, but I went to a technical school. It was called the Chubb Institute. And a family member recommended I go there. So I tried to sign up for computer programming, but was rejected. On that, they said, I'm too young, probably won't be able to get a job right away. They told me go into network engineering and data communications. I think that was the best suggestion somebody made because I loved it. It was awesome. 10 months later, I had a piece of paper. It said I knew something, and they placed me in a job with my first job with a healthcare company. This healthcare company was doing behavioral health, and I was an IT director of one. Just me. So it was my first kind of entry into the space. After that, I love computers. For some reason, IT just came naturally easy to me in terms of troubleshooting and fixing, but I had no idea how to run an IT shop, how to manage people and any of that. So, kind of the beginning of my career at that point was all about, I would say, smaller VARs and IT shops, concentrating on public service, local government sectors, as well as healthcare. And I think I learned the most from working for those smaller companies, because really I was exposed to so many different roles there. You wear a ton of hats when you are one of five, let's say, people doing things. And so there was kind of my biggest knowledge growth that I could pick up. I worked for two smaller companies, two smaller VARs and integrators, eventually went to work for a data center after that, which really taught me a lot about networking and enterprise level computing, and really even how to talk to people on an enterprise level. That all came from that training. And later on, between 2010 and 2012, I started my own healthcare IT company, where just kind of combining all the experiences I got, I was able to jump in and land a few customers with another partner of mine. And we were providing cloud services for like electronic health records and practice management applications. And, this was during the hot time of when Obama came in and said, we need to concentrate on healthcare, and we need, I forgot what he called it at the time. There was a big push for meaningful use of healthcare technology or IT and healthcare technology. So that was the concentration. It went really great. We had customers, they had a ton of money, there were grants coming in. The company was doing very well. And 2 years later, a bit of a fallout with my partner. Got to choose your partners real carefully. And a slight fallout there, I decided to sell the company, and a company called MedTech Solutions came and purchased my company. They were a California company, but they wanted East Coast exposure, which is where I was in New Jersey. It so happens that all of our technologies were exact. We were both using Zen as a virtualization platform. We both were Dell shops. We were both using the same exact software that we were providing to our customers. So it was just a perfect match. They came in, they bought my company, and I actually stayed with them for 5 years afterwards. I loved it so much because they got me with the purchase. Great company, really, really lucky to get there. Got one of my mentors there. I would say that my career did not come without mentorship. I had 3 really good mentors I can easily name, and those guys really put me to where I am. They brought in some of the philosophy, some of the way on how to deal with things, and with business in general. And also one of the biggest ones I think I picked up on from them was how to be of service. That was a big one. That was a big stress from 2 of my mentors, which then made me go, okay, I might want to do something with this. So that's basically that. I worked with them for 5 years, and then the previous employer to Databank, where I am now, was INAP. And INAP, I was playing the role of sales and solutions engineer there. So I was invited to interview for that position by a good friend of mine, who said I would love being a sales engineer. And to me, I was like, I heard sales. No, I'm not going to be great at that. I don't want that. It's crazy. You guys have all these quotas and things, and it's nervous, nerve breaking. And he said, don't worry about it. You're going to do great. You should really try it out. So I was like, all right, I trust this guy. I worked with him. This is our 4th rodeo now at Databank, actually. He's the same person who brought me into Databank years later. And we've been kind of crossing paths left and right. We actually finished the same Chubb Institute, the same computer school, but we didn't know each other then. We just found each other later on. So I must say that, solution engineering is probably the best IT job ever. To me, in my opinion, if you come from integration, if you're been with VARs and you've done the support and you were a pager for 15 years like I did, solution engineering was like a vacation for 4 years that I was there. It was fantastic. You pretty much make your own hours. You solve complex problems for customers. You always seem to be the hero, as long as you do the right job. People really like you. And sales apparently has big budgets, so you get to go to fancy dinners and do all sorts of things like that. I didn't know that was kind of the perk, I guess, of the job. So really, right now, my primary responsibility at Databank now that I'm here, is to help the entire sales team move the needle on cloud and managed service sales. Right. And in my daily life there, though, I do not worry about titles. And I really would describe myself as a technology professional with, I would say, a goal to be of service to anyone I come in contact with. And that's really the purpose. And then with years and years of support, operations, engineering, implementations, architecture, sales, pre-sales, and the entrepreneurial experience, I tend to find myself in an advisory and a consultative role nowadays, to kind of support my cloud managed services pre-sales teams, and of course all of our customers on that end. So cloud sales is fun. To me, it seems to be the best. I've been doing it for a long time now. It's strategic. It's personally rewarding to me, and to be able to help people with very complex technical issues every day. It's like, it's a dream job.
That's awesome. And I heard some interesting things there. So I heard one thing I want to make sure people heard, which is mentorship was important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've known you a long time, Rob, and you've known me, and we've both grown in a variety of ways in our career and in our attitudes about our career. And definitely the mentorship can make a difference for anybody, right?
I think it was huge. I try to mentor as much as I can to make the same difference that was made with me. But I totally agree with you there. To me, I think that's what really gave me an edge, is having those good mentors. And I think I was just lucky enough to have them, honestly.
Yeah. And then I heard networking was important as well, right? Getting jobs because of the people or being invited to join somebody else on their next journey. That's a lot of fun. I don't think I
interviewed for a job in the past 15 years because of networking.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you've had a varied career, some places that you've been along the way. What's something you've witnessed that in our field that if they came to you, Rob, and said, Rob, today you get to make us consider a change, that we should do something differently, what would that be? What would that be for you? What's something you've witnessed in our field?
In the IT field, some of the biggest changes that I would make, if we're not talking technology, but just kind of overall philosophy, is I would ask a couple of things. One is be extremely, to really drive the philosophy of being customer-centric, to drive the philosophy of rather than concentrating on the widgets that you're going to be playing with, concentrate on the outcome for the customer and what it is that you're trying to solve. I find a lot especially from engineering side of things, people get a little stuck in the widgets. They get stuck on the very technicals rather than fully uncovering what it is that you're solving for that particular customer at the time. I think one other big thing my pet peeve in this industry are certifications. I know people like them. I had them myself. I was an MSP or something like that, or certified back to 20 years ago at this point. Had the certs, but realizing, it kind of gave advantage, especially when you're looking for a job, to the test takers rather than to the geeks, to the real true nerds. I found myself working with MCSEs who had never seen an inside of a server before. While, me being a nerd since I was a child, basically, completely kind of helping them solve problems, which I thought they were going to be helping me to solve. So when I'm hiring people today, my biggest thing is I don't hire based on certs at all. I do, I believe you're either a geek or you're not. You either have it or you don't. Specifically for troubleshooting, I'm not talking about management. I'm not talking about those things. I'm just strictly technology-wise, right? So that's really how I'm looking at it. Especially when I'm interviewing people today, one of the biggest things I ask is, tell me about the most recent, very difficult problem you had to solve. And normally that's how I find out whether the person is a true nerd and wants to get in there, or they're kind of a high level person, which is, there's nothing wrong with high level people. It's just probably not a technical job, right, or something like that.
Depends on the role, right? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but those are the two things. I think just changing the philosophy of what it is you're going after, and then just hate certifications.
No, that's a big a topic of conversation lately. I mean, people are talking about how, we require X number, this level of college or these many certifications and this much of years of experience, and you are automatically excluding, a lot of highly qualified people who can just come in and figure it out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When you're talking to them too, you can tell when someone has a troubleshooting mind, based on the questions they ask, based on what they did. And you don't even have to have a technical problem solved. You can pretty much talk to them about stocking your refrigerator and how you do it. That might even answer a bunch of questions for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Rob, what's next for you? I know you're an entrepreneur. You like to do a lot of side stuff, but you're also big into trying to move the business you're in forward. What's the near future look like for you?
Definitely want to help this business succeed. I really like Databank. Their philosophy on business and just the company culture seems to be pretty incredible. Everybody wants to do well, and it's not easy, especially today with the IT workforce being so thin, to find the right talent to work with you. But I think Databank is definitely attracting the right people. So I want to stick around here maybe for the next 5 to 10 years for sure. I do jump around a little bit, but I'm good for 5 years easy with a company. After that, I might get bored. So normally either I get switched somewhere else where I can start something new, or I just go somewhere else entirely. But once I'm, got this thing ticking like a clock, which is what my goal is going to be, and to really help folks do what it is I'm here to do. Probably in about 10 years from now, I see myself in a consultative role, more than likely running my own agency with probably a really good partner. And I already met a lot of people I would love to work with again. And purely concentrating on helping my customers with decision-making and really identifying those best, probably still going to be called cloud or whatever they're called by then, solutions to solve those complex IT problems for them.
Awesome. Well, Rob, it's always great to catch up with you. Thank you for coming on the podcast today.
You as well, Jeremy. Thank you very much.